Since the reintroduction of legal alcohol in 1933, marketing companies have been convincing Americans that beer is a reward. If you're at the game, after a long day of hard work, or on vacation,
Listen here, Pabst.
beer is the reward.
It says, well done. Here's your refreshing reward.
But don't be fooled. A lack of mental clarity, difficulty sleeping, and a beer gut are also part of this reward.
Here we go, the Fireball Cinnamon Whiskey. Definitely tastes like fireballs.
So this year for Christmas, I decided I wanted to have a clear mind during the holidays. So I quit drinking for 30 days, starting the day after Thanksgiving. And this is my story.
I'm sorry.
Day 2, no booze. Last night was the first night sleeping without any alcoholic beverages for a few weeks. Nothing crazy. For me, it's crazy. I used to drink every night for a long time, and then I stopped that years ago. But for the last couple weeks leading up to Thanksgiving, I'd have anywhere from like 1 beer to like 3 beers every night, and then on weekends sometimes I'd have like 4 to 6. But last night was surprisingly difficult to go to sleep, going from having an aid or something to like dull like the brain, so that way I'm not sitting like thinking when I'm trying to go to sleep. Without that, I think it'd be silly to think that that wasn't affecting my ability to sleep. We'll see.
Today is day 5. I think it's the 4th night I slept sober for the first time in a few weeks. But the dreams have been absolutely insane.
Alcohol and marijuana are actually very good at blocking your dream sleep, your rapid eye movement sleep. And so what happens is that the brain is quite clever in this regard. It builds up a clock counter of how much dream sleep you should have had, but have not been getting.
Whoa.
And it starts to develop this increasing appetite and hunger for dream sleep. So that finally, when the alcohol actually gets out of your system, Sober October,
Yeah.
love the name, that's all of a sudden where you get what's called a REM sleep rebound effect, where you not only get the normal amount of REM sleep that you would normally have, you get that, plus the brain tries to get back some of that dream sleep that it's been losing over the past maybe 11 months. So you get this...
Try 20 years.
Yeah, I didn't want to make any assumptions.
Captain's Logs, day 12. Sobriety. I know that without fairly strict regulations in place or some like insane purpose where I have a thing I'm doing every day and no reason to drink, it's very easy to get into the habit of drinking on the weekends, Friday and Saturday, Sunday starts to creep in, and then Thursday starts to creep in. And then it's like a beer or 2 to 3 on like a Tuesday night because Alexis works late. So at like 4:30, I start thinking about a beer real hard, or 4. And then once everything's done for the night where I know I don't have to go anywhere, I crack open a beer and start cooking. It's actually a very great, very fun time. Right now on Friday night, getting ready to do some murder-free Mexican feast, and the craving for beer and booze is significantly harder right now. Oh man. For some reason, during this 30-day challenge, I decided to buy non-alcoholic beer for the first time in my life as an adult, and it was kind of a weird experience. I've been buying booze for over a decade, and shopping for non-alcoholic beer is the most alcoholic I've ever felt. Welcome to another episode of Alexis Reviews a Beer. Today's beer is the Run Wild Non-Alcoholic IPA from Athletic Brewing Company. Alexis Reviews a Beer is filmed in front of a live TV audience.
It's kind of reminiscent of like if LaCroix had a beer flavor.
What I'm wondering is, am I going to drink all 6 of these? Like, what if it were real beer?
It's pretty good.
If you were not drinking and you really craved a beer, would you drink that?
Yeah.
Do you think it would
It has that hoppy, like, yeah.
Would it satisfy you the same way a Beyond Burger satisfies the craving for like a burger?
I don't know, because you still get full with the Beyond Burger.
Yeah.
You don't get a buzz with this.
That's what I was saying. It's a good way to get a beer belly and to also have fully connected brain cells still.
The first ingredient is water, though. So technically, you're hydrating. If I didn't know this was non-alcoholic, I would say this beer's a 3.
Really?
Yeah. The minute someone told me it was non-alcoholic, -1.
I keep putting off journaling or doing these vlog style videos because I want to do it with like my proper camera instead of my phone. But I'm just gonna say what's on my mind in regards to not drinking. This last weekend, my son, kitchen's dirty. Yeah, that's Christmas stuff. My son unexpectedly ended up going to Florida to see his mother. And instead of going after Christmas, he went on the 18th and is gonna stay, 18th of December, and he's gonna stay until January 1st. To be honest, this is when things got hard. And I started having the conversation with myself. I'd be like, John, it doesn't matter. Who are you trying to prove something to? You've got it under control. You don't need to do 30 days. You can do things in moderation. And I'm pretty sure that was just the small part of me, or the big part of me, that is an addict, that likes to get messed up. I have anxiety. I don't like to sit alone with my thoughts, however terrible that sounds. And yeah, we all need escapes, and running is an escape for me. Meditation is an escape, but so is alcohol. Meditating is kind of hard. Running is really hard. If you have $12 and there's a liquor store nearby, that is the easiest of the three. And that's why I think the default for me to escape is alcohol. It's the least amount of effort, and it's the most euphoric feeling you can get, without having to actually do any work. And we went out with our friends this Saturday that my son flew out. We went to a bar, and it was right after the Colts beat the Patriots, and the bar was right next to the stadium, and the bar got full of drunk people. And I was the only sober person. And I was sitting there thinking, why is it so hard to not drink right now? I'm the only sober person, and I'm watching everyone going through these effects of alcohol. Why do I want to give in? Why do I want to partake? And there's all these obvious reasons, but I was sitting there, and then I did a little Google reading. I was in the corner reading on Google while everyone was drinking, and I came across this psychological thing called identity shift effect. And what this is, it explains the 3 stages we go through whenever we are in a situation where there's peer pressure. The first stage is the external conflict of the situation. So that means when you walk into an area, like when you walk into a bar and everyone's drinking, externally, okay, this is the cultured response to this situation. We get here, we drink. That's what's going on. So people are like, do you want a beer? The bartender asked you if you want to drink. Your friends are like, do you want to drink with us? Do you want to do some shots? Whatever. Why aren't you drinking? And then you have an internal conflict, because for me, I was sitting there thinking, I don't want to drink, but I kept thinking about giving in. And had I given in, I would have had an internal struggle because I gave in to the external pressure. Step 3 is super fascinating. It's the transformation. It's where you adjust your morals to that of everyone around you. Because it's really hard to sit with an internal conflict. You may feel shame for giving in and having that beer, but then you very quickly convince yourself that it's okay because you've adopted the status quo of everyone around you.
I just smashed a bunch of hash browns, and vegan murder-free waffles is delicious. And Alexis, I don't know if you could hear it, she just went, ugh. But the way I feel right now is amazing, and it's what I try to remind myself of when I'm making decisions on Friday nights, when I'm in seasons of my life where I'm boozing.
Is this waffle done?
I think the waffle's done. Is it light green?
No.
Does it look done to you?
Uh-huh.
Well, then it's done. It's a subjective thing. And since there's no murder in the batter, you can't get sick.
You were the waffle expert, and you kept giving me tips on how to cook earlier, so I was just making sure that I was doing it right.
See how calm I'm being right now? It's because I'm not hungover.
Same.
Okay.
Really, dude?
Home stretch of the no booze for 30 days, 3 days away. And my friend, who I haven't seen in a decade, is coming over. And I strategically invited him over for lunch instead of dinner, so that way I would be less tempted to drink booze. And Alexis is nursing a hangover, and I'm thinking about how I don't really like being hangover, but we did just put some beers in the freezer, and I'm like, well, it's kind of worth it.
So my friend, he came over for lunch, and
the only reason I didn't drink was because I offered him a beer and he said no. So thank you if you're watching, Steve, for saying no to beer during lunch, which I'm glad I invited him over for lunch. I would have ended up drinking and I would have rationalized it, but I probably would have had this like feeling of being let down in myself. I probably would have like hated myself and had some sort of shame involved with that. And the one thing I've learned from like actively trying to get better and trying to be aware of who I am and just like this whole journey, the one thing I've learned that's like super important, it's that you have to have a good relationship with yourself if you're going to get better at something intentionally. And the way you do that is by having a trusting relationship with yourself. To have a trusting relationship with yourself, it's important that you make promises to yourself and then you keep them. That's why sometimes, honestly, setting big goals can be detrimental to you getting better in your mental health, because when you have a big goal, like quitting your job and pursuing a new career or whatever it is, you say these big goals, but then you don't follow through on them. So you start thinking that you are the kind of person that can't keep promises to yourself. That's why like little tiny goals can be so huge. That's why these 30-day challenges can be huge for building trust with yourself. So the 30 days, they came and they went. It was honestly pretty hard. I didn't break. I didn't give in. Thankfully, my buddy didn't drink with me. But what happened after the 30 days is I drank for a couple days, and then on New Year's Eve, I decided that I was not going to drink for the entire year of 2022. I like my health. I like having mental clarity. I want to grow this channel. I want to do some more 30-day challenges. I want to do things that honestly help me get better. And then you sitting there can get better. Maybe you can learn some things from me doing these experiments. And honestly, I started this channel with the intentions of like getting better together. I say it all the time. And I just feel like I can't do that if I'm going to be boozing every weekend. I've got some stuff I want to get done. All right. So for now, thank you for being here. Hit the like button, do the YouTube things, watch this video. It's what YouTube thinks you'll like, and I'll see you soon. Bye now.